The galactic threat. The vast expanse of space had never seemed so small. Across the galaxy, civilizations trembled as news spread of an unstoppable force sweeping through star systems like a plague. They called themselves the Vorthax, a species so advanced and ruthless that entire planets fell silent in their wake. In the grand chambers of the Galactic Council, representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered in panic. The Vorthax had already conquered half the known universe, their insatiable hunger for resources and power driving them ever onward. No defense had proven effective, no diplomatic overture successful. The council chambers, once a place of measured debate and cosmic cooperation, now echoed with the desperate pleas of doomed races. Zarlian, the eldest of the council members, raised his crystalline appendages for silence. His voice, usually melodious, crackled with strain as he addressed the assembly. "We have received word that the Vorthax fleet has entered the Orion Arm. They will reach the outer colonies within days." A collective shudder passed through the gathering. The Orion Arm was home to countless developing civilizations, ripe for conquest by the Vorthax war machine. "What of the Kralnor defense grid?" called out a reptilian delegate, desperation evident in his scaled features. "Surely their technology can halt the advance." Zarlian's bioluminescent skin dimmed in sorrow. "The Kralnor fell 3 cycles ago. Their defense grid, once thought impenetrable, was breached in a matter of hours." Silence fell over the chamber, heavy with the weight of impending doom. Species that had warred for millennia now stood united in their fear of extinction. The Vorthax were unlike anything the galaxy had ever faced, a perfect predator, evolved to conquer and consume. As the silence stretched on, a small figure stepped forward. Barely noticed among the towering aliens and holographic projections, the human delegate cleared her throat. "Earth will stand against the Vorthax," she declared, her voice firm despite its relative softness in the cavernous chamber. At first, her words were met with confused murmurs. Earth was a newcomer to the galactic stage, its people only recently venturing beyond their solar system. To most of the assembled species, humans were curiosities at best, potential prey at worst. The human delegate, Dr. Samantha Chen, stood her ground as incredulous eyes turned towards her. "We may be young in galactic terms, but humanity has faced extinction-level threats throughout our history. We've adapted, survived, and thrived against impossible odds. We will not go quietly into the night." Laughter, tinged with hysteria, rippled through the chamber. A bulbous creature floated forward, its tentacles waving dismissively. "Your species still fights amongst itself over trivial matters. What hope do you have against the Vorthax?" Dr. Chen's eyes flashed with determination. "It is precisely because we've fought amongst ourselves that we're prepared for this. Humanity has honed the art of warfare for millennia. We've faced predators, conquered our world, and now we're ready to defend our place in the stars." The laughter died down as the assembled aliens sensed the steel in her words. There was something in the human stance, a predatory readiness that many of them recognized from their own evolutionary pasts. Zarlian leaned forward, his ancient eyes studying Dr. Chen intently. "You speak with conviction, human, but the Vorthax have technologies beyond your comprehension. They've defeated species that had mastered interstellar travel when your ancestors were still swinging in trees." "Then we'll learn," Dr. Chen replied without hesitation. "Humanity's greatest strength is our ability to adapt, to take the impossible and make it possible. We're not offering empty words. Earth is mobilizing as we speak." As if on cue, holographic displays sprang to life around the chamber. They showed images of Earth's cities transforming, factories retooling for war production, and massive ships taking shape in orbital dockyards. The speed and scale of the mobilization was breathtaking. "Impossible," whispered a avian delegate, its feathers ruffling in agitation. "No species can adapt so quickly." Dr. Chen allowed herself a small smile. "You haven't been paying attention to human history. When united by a common threat, there's nothing we can't accomplish." The displays shifted, showing historical footage that made many aliens recoil. Humans charging across battlefields, scaling cliffs under fire, pushing through Arctic wastes and scorching deserts. The images were a brutal testament to humanity's tenacity and will to survive. We've fought each other for resources, for ideology, for land, Dr. Chen continued. Now, we'll fight for our very existence, and make no mistake, we don't intend merely to survive. We intend to win. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of voices. Some dismissed the humans' words as bravado, others clung to them as a last desperate hope. But all eyes remained fixed on the displays showing Earth's feverish preparations. Zarlion raised his appendages once more, bringing a semblance of order to the proceedings. The Council acknowledges Earth's commitment, he intoned. But words and images are not enough. The Vorthax will reach your world soon. What tangible defense can you offer? Dr. Chen's expression hardened. We're not waiting for them to come to us. Humanity is taking the fight to the Vorthax. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Even species that had mastered faster than light travel millennia ago had found themselves unable to mount an effective offense against the Vorthax. The idea that this young, brash species would attempt what they could not was almost inconceivable. Madness, hissed a serpentine delegate. You'll be annihilated. Perhaps, Dr. Chen conceded. But we'll go down fighting, and in doing so, we'll buy time for the rest of the galaxy. Time to prepare, to unite, to find a way to defeat this threat. The holographic displays changed again, showing a massive fleet assembling in Earth's orbit. Ships of all sizes, from nimble fighters to behemoths that dwarfed anything the Council races had constructed, formed up in battle formations. This is Operation Thunderbolt, Dr. Chen explained. The first strike against the Vorthax. We've analyzed every scrap of data on their movements, their tactics, their technology. We're not going in blind. The assembled aliens watched in stunned silence as the human fleet began to move. It was a sight none had expected to see. A young species, barely out of its cradle, launching an offensive against the greatest threat the galaxy had ever known. As the last ships winked out of view, entering faster than light transit, Dr. Chen turned back to the Council. We don't ask for your help. We don't expect your gratitude. But know this, humanity will not go quietly. We will rage against the dying of the light. And in doing so, we will show the Vorthax that the hunters can become the hunted. With those words, she stepped back, leaving the Council in an uproar. Debates rage, alliances shifted, and for the first time since the Vorthax threat emerged, a spark of hope flickered in the galactic community. Far from Earth, aboard the flagship of Operation Thunderbolt, Admiral Helena Vasquez stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. The Vorthax fleet loomed ahead, a seemingly impenetrable wall of destruction. All ships reporting ready, Admiral, her XO announced. Vasquez nodded, a grim smile playing on her lips. Send the signal. Operation Thunderbolt is go. Let's show these aliens what happens when they threaten humanity. As one, the human fleet surged forward, weapons hot and spirits high. The greatest battle in human history was about to begin, and the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. Earth's unexpected response. The vast emptiness of space erupted into chaos as Operation Thunderbolt made first contact with the Vorthax fleet. Admiral Helena Vasquez stood unwavering on the bridge of the UES Indomitable, her eyes fixed on the tactical display as thousands of human ships engaged the alien armada. Status report, she commanded, her voice steady despite the stakes. Her XO, Commander Rajpatal, responded without taking his eyes off his console. The Vorthax are responding to our attack, Admiral. They seem surprised. A grim smile tugged at Vasquez's lips. Good. Surprise is our ally today. All ships, execute maneuver Epsilon 3. Across the battlefield, human vessels moved with a coordination that belied their relatively short time in space. Fighters swarmed like angry hornets, their impossible maneuvers confounding Vorthak's targeting systems. Larger ships unleashed salvos of missiles and energy weapons, each volley carefully timed to exploit gaps in the alien defenses. On board the Vorthak's command ship, High Commander Zixthar watched in disbelief as his supposedly invincible fleet was thrown into disarray. What manner of creatures are these? He snarled, his tentacles writhing in agitation. They fight like no species we've encountered. His second-in-command, a being of living metal named Kron, analyzed the battle data with cold precision. They are adapting to our tactics faster than should be possible, Kron reported. Every time we change our approach, they counter it within minutes. Zixthar's compound eyes narrowed. Impossible. No prey species could evolve such capabilities. Back on the Indomitable, Admiral Vasquez received a priority communication from Earth. Dr. Samantha Chen's face appeared on the main screen, her expression a mix of excitement and concern. "Admiral, the Galactic Council is in an uproar," Chen reported. "They're watching the battle in real time. Some are calling it a miracle, others are convinced it's an elaborate hoax." Vasquez allowed herself a small chuckle. "Tell them it's neither, Doctor. It's just humanity doing what we do best, adapting and overcoming." As if to punctuate her words, a massive explosion lit up the battlefield. A Vorthak's dreadnought, a ship class that had single-handedly decimated entire alien fleets, split apart under the combined assault of a human battle group. How is this possible? Zixthar raged on his command ship. Their technology should be primitive compared to ours. Kron's metallic features shifted in what passed for concern among his kind. "High Commander, I've analyzed their weapons. They're using our own technology against us." The revelation hit Zixthar like a physical blow. In all their conquests, the Vorthaks had never encountered a species that could so quickly reverse engineer and improve upon their advanced systems. On Earth, in hidden laboratories beneath the surface, teams of scientists and engineers worked feverishly. They pored over data streaming in from the battle, making real-time adjustments to weapons systems and defensive capabilities. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, head of the Adaptive Technologies Division, shouted orders to her team. "The Vorthaks are shifting their shield frequencies. Upload the new targeting parameters to the fleet now." Within seconds, the updated data reached the human ships. Lasers that had been barely scratching Vorthak's hulls suddenly punched through with devastating effect. Admiral Vasquez watched with grim satisfaction as another alien vessel succumbed to the human assault. "Commander Patel, status of Operation Trojan Horse." Patel consulted his display, a fierce grin spreading across his face. "Green across the board, Admiral." They took the bait. Vasquez nodded. "Execute." Across the battlefield, seemingly crippled human ships suddenly sprang to life. What the Vorthaks had assumed were easy targets revealed themselves to be carriers for swarms of microscopic drones. These swarms, each drone no larger than a grain of sand, infiltrated Vorthak ships through hull breaches and weapon ports. Inside the alien vessels, the drones began their work. Some disrupted critical systems, others gathered invaluable intelligence, and a select few made their way to the bridges. On the Vorthak's command ship, Zixthar was about to order a tactical retreat when his view screen suddenly came to life. The face that appeared belonged to none other than Dr. Samantha Chen. "Greetings, High Commander Zixthar," Chen said, her voice laden with steel. "I am Dr. Samantha Chen, representative of Earth and humanity. I believe it's time we had a chat." Zixthar's rage was palpable. "How dare you? We are the Vorthaks. We do not negotiate with prey." Chen's eyes narrowed. "I think you'll find, High Commander, that humanity is far from prey. Look around you. Your fleet is in shambles. Your technology has been turned against you. And at this very moment, we are broadcasting this conversation to every species in the Galactic Council." The alien leader's compound eyes widened in shock as he realized the full extent of the human strategy. Not only had they engaged the Vorthaks in battle, but they had also waged a war of information and perception. "You have two choices," Chen continued, her voice echoing across thousands of alien ships and countless worlds. Cease your aggressions and withdraw from the territories you've conquered, or face total defeat at the hands of a species you thought was prey. In the Galactic Council chambers, the assembled aliens watched in stunned silence. The humans, a species many had dismissed as primitive, had done the impossible. They had not only stood against the Vorthax, but had brought them to the brink of defeat. Zarlian, the eldest of the council members, turned to his fellow representatives. "We have witnessed something unprecedented today," he said, his voice filled with awe. "The humans have shown us that the galaxy still holds surprises. Perhaps it is time we reconsidered our place in the cosmic order." As the battle raged on, with humanity pressing its advantage, a new understanding began to dawn across the galaxy. The lines between predator and prey, between hunter and hunted, were not as clear as many had believed. In the face of extinction, humanity had revealed itself to be the most dangerous species of all, one that refused to accept defeat, that adapted with lightning speed, and that fought with a ferocity born of an unbreakable will to survive. The Vorthax, for the first time in their long history of conquest, found themselves facing a choice they had never contemplated: surrender or annihilation. And as High Commander Zixthar stared into the unyielding eyes of Dr. Samantha Chen, he realized a terrifying truth: the hunters had become the hunted. The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. But one thing was certain: the era of unchallenged Vorthax dominance was over. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and nothing would ever be the same again. The hunt begins. The aftermath of Operation Thunderbolt sent shockwaves across the galaxy. The Vorthax, once thought invincible, had been forced into a humiliating retreat. But humanity, led by the indomitable Admiral Helena Vasquez and the brilliant Dr. Samantha Chen, knew that this was only the beginning. In the war room deep beneath the United Earth Government headquarters, holographic displays flickered with real-time data from across the galaxy. Admiral Vasquez stood at the center, her keen eyes scanning the tactical readouts. "The Vorthax are regrouping in the Andromeda Galaxy," she reported to the assembled War Council. "They're licking their wounds, but make no mistake, they'll be back, and they'll be angry." Dr. Chen nodded, her face grim. "We've bought ourselves some time, but we need to use it wisely. The Galactic Council is in turmoil. Some species want to join us, others are still paralyzed by fear." President Alejandro Reyes, the newly elected leader of United Earth, leaned forward. "Then we need to show them that humanity isn't just capable of defending itself. We need to prove that we can take the fight to the Vorthax and win." A murmur of agreement rippled through the room. The taste of victory had awakened something primal in humanity, a fierce determination to not just survive, but to thrive in the face of cosmic threats. "I have a proposal," said General Yuki Tanaka, head of Earth's Special Operations Command. Operation Ghost Hunter. All eyes turned to the compact, intense woman as she activated a holographic display. "We've analyzed the data from our nanodrones. The Vorthax have a hierarchical command structure. Take out their leaders, and their entire war machine could crumble." Admiral Vasquez's eyes gleamed with interest. "A surgical strike behind enemy lines. It's risky, but if we pull it off, we could end this war before it consumes the galaxy." President Reyes finished. Dr. Chen frowned. "The Galactic Council might see this as an escalation. Some species are already wary of our capabilities." "With all due respect, Doctor," General Tanaka countered, "we're past the point of worrying about alien sensibilities. The Vorthax won't stop until they're defeated utterly. We need to show the galaxy that humanity is willing to do whatever it takes to protect not just ourselves, but all sentient life." President Reyes nodded slowly. "I agree. Dr. Chen, you've done an admirable job as our ambassador, but now it's time to show the galaxy another side of humanity. Prepare a statement for the Galactic Council. Let them know that we're taking the fight to the Vorthax." As the War Council dispersed to prepare for the next phase of the conflict, a small team gathered in a secure briefing room. Led by Captain Zora Oko, a veteran of Earth's most elite Special Forces unit, they represented the tip of the spear in Operation Ghost Hunter. "Listen up, Ghosts," Ocho addressed her team. "Our mission is simple but crucial. We're going to infiltrate Vorthak's High Command and take out their leadership." She gestured to a holographic display showing a massive otherworldly structure. "This is the Nexus, the Vorthak's central command hub. It's located in the heart of their territory, protected by defenses that have repelled entire alien armadas." A young lieutenant raised his hand. "How are we supposed to get past those defenses, Captain?" Oko's grin was fierce. "The same way we've beaten the Vorthaks at every turn, by being unpredictable. Dr. Rodriguez and her team have developed a new stealth technology that will make us invisible not just to sight, but to every form of detection the Vorthaks possess." She tapped a control, and the image zoomed in on a sleek, almost predatory-looking ship. "Meet the Ghost Hawk. She'll get us in close. From there, we'll use personal stealth suits to infiltrate the Nexus." The briefing continued, detailing every aspect of the daring mission. As Oko laid out the plan, she could see the fire of determination burning in her team's eyes. They knew the stakes. The fate of not just humanity, but countless alien species rested on their shoulders. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the Vorthaks were in turmoil. In the grand chamber of the Nexus, High Commander Zixthar faced the wrath of the Vorthaks' ruling council. "You have failed us, Zixthar," boomed the voice of the Supreme Overlord, a being of such alien majesty that lesser species went mad at the mere sight of it. "These humans were supposed to be easy prey. Instead, they have humiliated us before the galaxy." Zixthar prostrated himself before the council. "Forgive me, exalted ones. We underestimated the humans. They are unlike any species we have encountered. They adapt, they innovate, they fight with a ferocity that defies logic." The Supreme Overlord's many eyes narrowed. "Then we shall match their ferocity. Prepare the World Eaters. We will show these upstart humans the true meaning of extinction." As the Vorthaks mobilized for a counterattack, unaware of the threat lurking in the shadows, humanity prepared for the most audacious mission in its history. The Ghost Hawk slipped through the void of space, its revolutionary stealth systems rendering it undetectable to even the most advanced Vorthak sensors. Inside, Captain Oko and her team made final preparations. "Remember," she told her ghosts, "we're not just fighting for Earth. We're fighting for every species that has ever faced extinction at the hands of the Vorthaks. We're fighting for the right of all sentient beings to exist without fear." As the Ghost Hawk approached the Nexus, tension mounted. The massive structure loomed before them, bristling with weapons that could vaporize entire fleets. But the human ship slipped past undetected, a phantom in the night. "Deployment in 60 seconds, the ship's AI announced. Captain Oko took a deep breath, centering herself. This was the moment that would define not just the mission, but perhaps the entire war. As she looked at her team, she saw not just soldiers, but the embodiment of humanity's will to survive and thrive against all odds. "Ghosts," she said, her voice steady. "It's time to show the galaxy why you should never corner a human. We are the hunters now." The Ghost Hawk's bay doors opened silently, and the elite team launched into the void, their stealth suits rendering them invisible against the backdrop of stars. As they maneuvered towards the Nexus, using micro-thrusters to navigate the treacherous defenses, a new chapter in the war was about to unfold. Inside the Nexus, blissfully unaware of the approaching threat, the Vorthaks leaders continued their plans for galactic domination. They had no idea that their reign of terror was about to face its greatest challenge, a small team of humans armed with courage, ingenuity, and an unbreakable will to win. The hunt had begun, and for the first time in their long history of conquest, the Vorthaks were the prey. Turning the tables. The Nexus, heart of the Vorthaks Empire, pulsed with an otherworldly energy. Its twisted spires and impossible geometries defied the laws of physics, a testament to the aliens' advanced technology. Yet for all its grandeur, it had one fatal flaw. It had never been designed to repel an enemy as resourceful and determined as humanity. Captain Zura Okoa and her team of ghosts moved through the structure like wraiths, their advanced stealth suits bending light and absorbing energy signatures. They navigated through corridors that seemed to shift and change, guided by the intricate 3D maps their nanodrones had constructed. "Control, this is Ghost Lead," Ochoa whispered into her comms. "We've penetrated the outer defenses, moving to Phase 2. Back on Earth, in the bustling war room, Admiral Vasquez watched the operation unfold with bated breath. "Understood, Ghost Lead. Remember, your primary objective is to locate and neutralize the Vorthax leadership. Secondary objective is to gather any intel on their future plans." As the ghosts delved deeper into the Nexus, they encountered their first real challenge. A massive chamber filled with what appeared to be living computer nodes blocked their path. Tendrils of bioorganic material writhed and pulsed, processing unfathomable amounts of data. "Well, this wasn't in the briefing," muttered Lieutenant Kai Chen, the team's tech specialist. Captain Okoa's mind raced, analyzing the situation. "Kai, can you interface with it? We need to find a way past without alerting the entire Nexus." Chen nodded, pulling out a device that Dr. Rodriguez had developed specifically for interfacing with alien tech. As he worked, the rest of the team formed a protective perimeter, every sense on high alert. Suddenly, Chen's eyes widened. "Captain, you're not going to believe this. This network, it's not just processing data. It's processing minds. The Vorthax, they're not just a species. They're a hive mind." This revelation sent shockwaves through the team and back to Earth. Dr. Samantha Chen, listening in from the war room, felt a chill run down her spine. That explains their coordinated attacks, their ability to adapt so quickly. They're not just communicating. They're sharing consciousness. Admiral Vasquez leaned in, her voice tense. "Ghost Lead, this changes things. If we can disrupt their hive mind, we might be able to cripple their entire empire in one stroke." Captain Okoa processed this new information quickly. "Understood, Control." "Kai, can you upload a virus into their network?" Chen's fingers flew over his device. "Already on it, Captain. But we'll need to reach the central core to ensure maximum spread." As the ghosts pressed on, now with an even more crucial mission, the Vorthax remained oblivious to the threat in their midst. In the grand chamber of the Supreme Overlord, plans for the counterattack against Earth were being finalized. High Commander Zixthar's tentacles writhed with anticipation. "Exalted One, the World Eaters are primed and ready. We will reduce the humans' homeworld to ash, and then systematically exterminate their colonies. The galaxy will once again tremble at the mere mention of the Vorthax." The Supreme Overlord, a being of such alien majesty that its true form seemed to shift and change even as one looked at it, pulsed with approval. "Excellent. Zixthar, perhaps you will redeem yourself for your earlier failure. Begin the attack." But just as Zixthar turned to relay the order, alarms began blaring throughout the Nexus. The Supreme Overlord's form flickered, its many eyes widening in what could only be described as fear. "What is happening? Why do I feel disconnected?" In the heart of the Nexus, Captain Okoa and her team had reached the central core. It was a massive spherical chamber, filled with swirling energy and pulsing with the combined consciousness of the entire Vorthax species. "Kai, upload the virus now," Ochoa ordered, as the rest of the team fought off waves of Vorthax defenders that had finally detected their presence. Lieutenant Chen connected his device to the core, and for a moment, everything seemed to pause. Then, chaos erupted. Throughout the Nexus and across the Vorthax Empire, confusion reigned. The hive mind that had guided them for millennia was suddenly fragmented, leaving individuals to think for themselves for the first time in countless generations. In the Grand Chamber, the Supreme Overlord writhed in agony. "What have you done?" It shrieked at Zixthar. "I cannot feel the others. I cannot control." Zixthar, equally disoriented, could only stare in horror as the mighty Vorthax Empire began to crumble from within. Back in the core chamber, Captain Oko and her team fought desperately to hold their position. "Control virus uploaded successfully, requesting immediate extraction." Admiral Vasquez's voice crackled over the comms. "Negative, Ghost Lead. We're detecting massive energy fluctuations. The Nexus is becoming unstable. You need to find your own way out." As the structure around them began to twist and warp, reality itself seeming to bend, Ochoa made a split-second decision. "Ghosts, to me. We're taking a Vorthax ship." In a display of incredible skill and adaptability, the human team fought their way to a hangar bay. There, amidst the chaos of panicking Vorthax, they commandeered a sleek alien vessel. "Anyone know how to fly this thing?" Ocho asked as they strapped in. Lieutenant Chen grinned despite the dire situation. "After interfacing with their network, I could fly it with my eyes closed." As the stolen ship blasted out of the disintegrating Nexus, the ghosts watched in awe as the massive structure imploded, taking with it the heart of the Vorthax Empire. Across the galaxy, Vorthax ships suddenly lost cohesion, their crews thrown into disarray without the guiding influence of the hive mind. The mighty armada that had been poised to attack Earth now drifted aimlessly in space. In the Galactic Council chambers, representatives watched in stunned silence as reports flooded in. The Vorthax, the scourge of the galaxy, had been defeated not by overwhelming force, but by a small team of humans armed with courage, ingenuity, and an understanding of their enemy that the Vorthax themselves lacked. Zarlian, the eldest of the council members, turned to his fellow representatives, his crystalline form shimmering with emotion. "We have witnessed a miracle today," he announced. "The humans, whom many of us dismissed as primitive, have saved us all. They have proven themselves not just worthy allies, but the champions this galaxy has long needed." As news of the victory spread, celebrations erupted on countless worlds. Species that had lived in fear for generations now looked to the stars with hope. And at the center of it all was humanity, no longer seen as prey, but as the unexpected hunters who had brought down the greatest predator the galaxy had ever known. On Earth, as the Ghost-teamed ship landed to a hero's welcome, Admiral Vasquez turned to Dr. Chen, a rare smile on her face. "Well, Doctor, it seems we've changed the course of galactic history. What do you think comes next?" Dr. Chen looked out at the cheering crowds, her mind already racing with possibilities. "Admiral, I think this is just the beginning. We've proven that humanity can overcome any challenge, adapt to any situation. The stars themselves are the limit now." As Earth celebrated and the galaxy adjusted to a new era of peace, one thing was clear. Humanity had not just secured its place among the stars. It had become a beacon of hope, a testament to the indomitable spirit that could rise from a tiny blue planet to reshape the cosmos itself. The hunters had become the protectors, and the galaxy would never be the same again.